So I think we're going to start each morning with like the relevant news headlines and the important stuff going on. And we're going to start today with a news story that's pretty scary. It's disturbing shit. The states of New Mexico and Colorado are trying to circumvent the voting safety procedures put in place by the Founding Fathers at the 1787 Constitutional Convention, where they devised the Electoral College. The Electoral College is so important because it makes sure that every vote is heard and that every state has say in who takes the presidency, who takes office. And they are trying to circumvent this by making it so their electoral votes, basically every state is assigned a few electoral votes based on basically on their size and their population at the time, and those electoral votes go to whichever candidate won the most districts within the state. What they're trying to do is remove that safety feature so whoever won the popular vote gets their electoral votes. And the reason the Electoral College exists in the first place is so major cities and major areas like South California and New York, if those two alone voted entirely liberal, then they would decide, and we went off popular vote, they would decide the fate of the presidency and all the midterm elections for everybody. They would decide for the whole country. The entire rest of the country could vote Republican or Libertarian or whatever. And as long as those southern areas, South California, New York City, Miami, the major cities, which always go liberal, even when the people don't vote Democrat in that city, it goes Democrat because we watch the corruption and the voting fraud come out of those states every time. We watched it this past election cycle. If you remember, they claimed that Hillary Clinton should have won because she won by 3 million more votes in the popular vote. And it's just not true, because if you remember, they called for recounts in Michigan and I think it was Florida. And when they started doing these recounts, what happened? Well, Donald Trump's numbers went up and Hillary Clinton's went down. This is the first election in the last 5 election cycles that somebody won the popular vote but lost the office, and that's because of the electoral votes. What they want to do is make their electoral votes, this is New Mexico and Colorado, go towards whoever won the popular vote. And we know because of the amount of election fraud from the last election, and we know that their states mostly go Democrat. We know that those areas mostly go Democrat. And that's scary and dangerous. You can't let that happen. This is why you need to be involved. This is why you need to be informed. This is why you need to pay attention, and you need to make sure your voice is heard, not just during the elections, but you need to take the time to explain these things to your friends who don't understand it. If your friend says we need to do away with the Electoral College, whether he is a Republican, a Democrat, a liberal, a libertarian, a fucking centrist, a Marxist, a communist, whatever, you need to educate them because they're an idiot. That's all I'm going to say on this. I might write a whole article, an essay on this very article on the importance of the Electoral College later. Ocasio Cortez, AOC, as Chris DeGaulle calls her, and I love it, low oxygen Cortez. She is responding to the people who are criticizing her new Green Deal, which is a disaster. Her new Green Deal would call for within 10 years, we, at the federal level, using tax dollars, re-insulate every house and business in America. Every building would get re-insulated and rebuilt to be the most energy efficient. Like somehow that combats climate change. It wouldn't. It's ridiculous. She also called for ending air travel. She wants to do away with airplanes. Americans wouldn't be able to leave the country or fly to the other side of the country. They'd have to take a train or a car. It's ridiculous. Anyway, she responded to her critics by saying that what was the exact comment? Her that she is the boss. That's what it was. That, until you stand up and try to do something about the climate change, I'm the boss. And that's beyond ridiculous. I'm sorry, AOC. You're not the boss of shit. You're an elected official. You serve the public. Even though I don't support you and I didn't vote for you and I think you shouldn't be in office, you work for me, not the other way around. You're not any type of boss whatsoever. Second, your Green Deal is a goddamn disaster, and the very thought that somehow doing away with air travel and not eating hamburgers, that was the other thing. We need to stop eating hamburgers because cow farts create methane that contributes to global warming. Like, cows won't exist anymore if we just stop eating meat and all become vegetarians. Her plan called for the whole world the whole country to become vegetarians. This type of immaturity, this type of ridiculousness just shows that AOC should not be in office. She needs to be fucking removed. She really does. She's an idiot. Low oxygen Cortez is dangerous. She's a socialist.